I've been looking forward to this. Some good news for the Alberta market in real estate. Calgary and Edmonton outperforming Vancouver. Look out, outperforming Victoria, too. Let's get more on this. Ozzie Jurek joins me on the line now. Ozzie, as I said, what a relief. I was tired of always giving negative stats about real estate in Calgary and Edmonton. So that's changed, at least in March.
Well, yeah, the interesting thing, too, is that in March, there's been a surge in jobs. I mean, in fact, Alberta led the country on a percentage basis in new job creation, and that always bodes well for the future. And certainly the real estate sales, Edmonton has a slight increase in sales, but a decline in listings, which is always a good sign, is about an 8% decline. Calgary had a 20% increase in sales. Its average price is 5% higher, believe it or not, and the listings are down 16%. That is also very good. Now, we still have huge office vacancies, like something like 25%, but it looks like Alberta is turning the corner.
Well, it's going to be interesting. I mean, you always have to look inside the employment numbers, and of course, we've had a recovery in the price of oil from the lows of, in January of a year ago, say like that, under $30, we get up to 55 on the high, over 50 still. But remember, Joseph Schachter thinks we're getting another drop here. So does Jack Crooks, and I'm in that camp. That the worst is, or not, the worst may be over, but the decline is not over for oil. So it's going to be very interesting to see the impact of another drop, which will come, I think, before the end of the year, probably sooner. Another drop there on employment, and then by the byproduct being real estate sales. So I don't know if they're out of the woods yet, but I was happy to see better numbers.
Well, yeah, and I would agree with that. The only thing is, remember, Edmonton's average price is $371. Vancouver is $1 million. Toronto is $916. So you have from a major city, and Edmonton is a major city. You have a fabulous, really average price. Yeah. I mean, you put down your 20% and you pay $1,400 a month for your own home. That's a pretty good thing. The interesting thing is that the sales were higher in Toronto by 18% to some 12,077 units. Mike, that's more than Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, Toronto, Victoria, and Kelowna, and you still got 1,500 units left over. It's a major market. Vancouver is pretty full at 3,500 sales. Toronto is 4 times higher. So when you look at that, on top of that, the active listings are down 33%. Their price is up 33%. We're talking about a runaway inflation. People don't like to say it, but as far as I'm concerned, 33% increases 2 years in a row. That's a runaway inflation in hard assets. Now, the Ontario government is going to bring a spring budget, and they say it will include housing affordability measures.
You know what's absurd on that, Ozzie, is here Kathleen Wynne, and I would put, literally, I'd put the Dalton McGuinty government along with Kathleen Wynne's government. It has to be in any conversation of the worst financial managers, in provincial government history. And there's been competition, believe me. But maybe it's just that thing about the present that they're top of mind for me. But they got to be on anyone's short list. So here she is talking about affordability. And what does she talk about? Rent control. A failed policy, if there ever is one, because of course then builders don't build knowing that the rent controls are in there. It has not been successful. Look at the States; it's completely discredited. So it's just interesting. Look at her go.
Yeah, and but it's also the rumor is they're bringing in a foreign tax, or they're bringing in a general speculation tax, particularly in the GTA and in Hamilton. So time will tell in the new budget, but clearly they need money, and when governments need money, guess who they come after? It's us. But it seems to me all over we have an unusual world. Sales normally, when they go up and listings go down, lower, means that we're going to have higher prices. If sales go lower and listings higher, we'll have lower prices. Right now in Vancouver, and in a lot of places we have sales down and listings down. You look at Victoria. I mean, listings are down 40%. Sales are down 17%, and yet you still have price increases. So it's kind of we're in a flux, and I think April will sort of tell the story. Sort of the fog will lift this month because we have a spring budget. We're also measuring ourselves against last March and April, which were the highest numbers ever. So maybe we're just getting back to some normal real estate market.
Well, I would think, though, if you don't have the listings, how could you have the sales? Let's take it to an extreme. Let's say there was only one house listed for sale in Victoria. So all you can get is one house sold. I think when I look at the market in Victoria especially, and I see such a drop in the listings, I'm not surprised that there's a drop in the sales. The available product just isn't there.
That's true, but generally when you have it's the old chicken and egg thing, right?
Yes, I know.
Normally, when you have fewer sales, the owners are motivated to get the property into the market. And right now in Vancouver, I mean, we have 47% decline in single-family home sales. The owners are not rushing to get the heck out of the market, and maybe we all are not much more aware of what can happen to real estate markets. To me, the most important thing in this market, and I get asked every day, what's going to happen, as if I knew what's going to happen next week, right? But I do know if I want to buy a house, look at it from the perspective, do I want to live there? When I'm going to come home, I put my right arm on the fireplace, my left has a Cabernet Sauvignon, and I survey the scene, and if I like what I see, what do I care whether the market is up or down in the next 5 years? I mean, the key is next month, Who knows? But 5 years from now, with the money we're printing, we're going to be high.
The other point you made, I just reiterate before I ask you for some hot properties, is just that keep in mind, March and April were the peak last year. We were the only outlet talking about that relentlessly. Ozzie and I talked about that. So the comparatives are going to be very negative because we're not going to come up to that pricing. That's where you'll see a real price drop, by the way, because that was the peak. Ozzie, let me get to hot property.
Yeah, we got a 2-bedroom bathroom condo on Departure Bay Beach in Nanaimo for $214,000. We have $399,000, 11-acre parcel land in the Chase River area of Nanaimo. And if you really want a quarter section of land, 160 acres north of Williams Lake, it's on for $498,000.
There you go. Remember, if you want more on the hot properties, all you have to do is go to Jurock.com, JUROCK.com, click on the hot property button. Just stuff that Ozzie sees that he thinks is interesting, but you got to do your due diligence and see where it fits for you. Ozzie, you go out and have a terrific weekend. Where are you this weekend?
Yeah, I'm going to be golfing, and before you give me a hard time, I want you to understand you don't have to be good at golf and sex in order to enjoy it.
And I hear you're not that good at either. I hear you're a 32 handicap on both fronts.
What did I just say? Okay, take it back.
I'm sure you'll have a smile on your face, but you'll be the only one. Ozzie, go out and have a great weekend. I'll take a break.